Yeah.
Fuck Golden Power. That's a
What?
That's
It's
another studio.
it's one of the studios out here, the Golden Impala, and like me and him both work. Have you guys spoken about how I know Suave?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't figured out how you know each other.
Okay, we're gonna talk about it. Let's get live first.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, you're good.
What you need?
Hit me up, I got you, man. What you want?
How
What
about
you
it?
need? Hit me up, I got you, man. Oxycontin, Xanax bars,
I feel it.
Percocets.
The Golden Impala is a studio out here in LA, and me and Suave both work. Remember, I told you, Rick, that I'm working at a studio now.
Yeah.
He came in like a little bit after me, but we basically like he's a producer there. I'm an engineer there. That's how we know each other.
Oh shit. Okay.
He's a producer and engineer there. But yeah, so Golden Impala is a studio out here, and the owner of that studio, we both know his name is Matt. His like arch nemesis is the Golden Impala and every other studio in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So he just came in, fuck the Golden Impala.
I fucks with that. All right. I
Shout
can.
out to homie there, man. He did a little demo for me. That shit's good. So
Who?
I fucked with what was his name? Solace something. Jay Solace. He cool. He good people.
I have no idea who you're talking about, bro.
He worked at the Golden.
Oh, okay.
He engineered them. I think he's
I'm
just
sure,
one
I'm
of
sure, I'm sure the people are cool. I'm just for Matt's sake. Fuck
Oh
these
yeah,
guys.
from last city, they're the odds. We sliding any day of the week.
That's awesome.
What'd you guys talk about before I jumped on like a minute?
How
Are you capping all your raps?
yeah, how you just talk all this whack shit.
How you ripping beats?
Somebody told somebody that you're a producer and that you got beats, and I want to hear them.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Who the fuck said that?
There's only
I
another
heard
one
word
other.
word on Beverly, bro.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, I was walking in the
He
streets.
said word on Beverly. Wait a minute. Somebody told somebody I had beats.
I was off of Melrose,
Yeah.
and somebody was like, "Yo, that
I'm finna
cloudy
live-
fool."
Yeah, I saw YouTube cloudy type beats, bro. I was like, what the?
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I'm excited.
I lifted them shits off YouTube. That's all I did.
YouTube to MP3 rip.
I can make a whole damn beat about myself from type beats. Fuck with me.
Has anybody ever? Isn't that what mixtapes are? Mixtapes are just like old school type beat, like albums, right? They're just taking other people's beats and then they're just rapping over them. Isn't that what type beats are? They're
Not
just-
necessarily.
It depends what you going for. I think with the tape.
That's true. Okay, but what if you
Yeah.
just like took?
Mixtapes are like defined as like basically body of work that's not necessarily the same entity as an album, so they don't necessarily get the same kind of like processing in terms of like background stuff. So it's like, for example, an album you credit everyone as engineer, producer on it. It's all like very official. Mixtape you can release stuff and basically just to feel like, hey, got more music than and it's like
Would you call that a
it's
demo
more about
though?
like promotion. Basically, a mixtape's like a fat demo.
I feel like the big reason for that is the like as far as the large scale music industry labels and stuff don't look at mixtapes and EPs for numbers, particularly like for an artist, unless they're like known for dropping mixtapes and EPs. Like they're gonna look at your album sales. So if you continuously drop mixtapes and EPs to the big names, it's like you're not out yet. So a lot of people do that to build an audience. So when they first drop their album, it's like their numbers already cranked up. You know.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what I feel. That's why I drop a mixtape. There's some of my favorite artists.
Yeah, that's why I haven't. We're on the same page. That's why I haven't dropped the album because I'm trying to get the numbers cracking first. But
Man.
speaking of, I have a tape coming out next month, and I still need some shit ready for it. But that's another topic.
Let me hop on it.
It's already. No.
No, that's already.
Next month.
It's already no.
It's already there, man. It's already there. I know.
You can be on the
The
next
next
one.
My boy struck me.
We're gonna have more shit than just that, bro. Don't worry about it.
Easy peasy.
I see you like every other day.
Oh, I know you get tired of seeing me, bro.
Bro, you took a picture of me sleeping. Tell me I'm tired of seeing you. Like, of course.
You lacking in the studio, man.
You can't sleep in the studio. What are you,
Bro is beanied out.
groupie?
Bro, I was there all day. I was like this, waiting for my next session.
No, sir. You need
Can't
to.
let me get one little bit of rest before I goddamn have to go get this swing.
Bro, this is the time where you stay up the entire night. Really?
You just need to drip
Alright,
caffeine in your eyes.
Bro, okay, I gotta tell you about this. So the two guys who own the studio we work at, one of them is named Matt, one of them is named, well, I'll give you his moniker. His name is Dr. Who, right? He's like the lead engineer.
Okay.
He's like, this man is, I swear to God, he's addicted to energy. Like, he would do anything that the internet says will give you more energy. He'll eat coffee.
Oh.
He'll
Okay.
he'll like combine every brand of energy drink that there is into one thing, and then pour in like the energy powder, and then stir it up, and then drink that.
Yo.
He'll literally, he had a drink one time. He just showed it to me. He was like, "Bro, this is pure liquid caffeine." I'm like, "What the fuck is that?" It smells awful. He drinks the whole thing. He just goes, bro. There's no off time for Dr. Uber.
That reminds me of adrenochrome.
People are trying to be sharp. Trying to be sharp.
What'd you say, Rooks?
I said that reminds me of adrenochrome, the drug from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's extracted from a human adrenal gland. It's pure adrenaline. Adrenochrome.
That sounds right. Sounds right.
Imagine if you could take adrenaline as a drug. How crazy would that be?
People do that.
Yeah, it's called adrenochrome.
I got some homies into the gym shit. They be doing some crazy shit.
They be doing the scoop shit. That pre-workout, man.
I got a homie that takes Cialis before he works out.
Okay, there's a reason for that though. What is it?
Basically, you want to boost your testosterone, and you like rock hard and get you more of a pump.
Okay.
Cialis is what I think it is, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So he's like, it just helps him be motivated.
Just increase the testosterone. Bro.
Interesting. I did not know that it did that.
Pop a rhino before all the reps.
Exactly.
Know, bro. Them shits are sketchy, bro. You know, my uncle be working in stores, so he be
Do they work?
Oh no, bro. He said don't fuck with that shit. He told me don't go fuck with that shit.
You mean horny goat weed is not what it sounds like?
Bro, I asked the last time I was in a corner store. I just asked the dude. I was like, "So how many people really come in here?" He's like, "Bro, I had to restock this shelf 3 times today." I'm like,
Hey, people definitely take that shit, bro. If they want to sell it, they'll take it.
people buy it before. Not in LA, but I was in Oakland or something. I seen dude come in buy the whole rack.
I respect it.
They must be making something with it. There's no way that it stays in that form.
It's like they cooking meth with it. Like,
Dude,
great.
if you take these rhinos and then you go to the store and you get some green tea and then you get some coffee and you put it together, this shit makes you fly. I don't know.
How are you speaking too specific, my guy?
Yeah.
like Breaking Bad.
I've just listened to the homeless people as they are like walking around.
Oh, it's always someone else. It's always someone.
Hot take. Who's more dangerous, meth heads or crackheads?
Ooh, definitely crackheads, and I can tell you why.
Okay, go.
Because crackheads, okay. Well, okay. I've never met a meth head that I didn't like, and that sounds weird out of context.
Wait, what? Repeat that.
But the only people that I've ever met that have done meth are people that I actually was like, they were in my circle. They weren't like my friends, but they were like.
Are we talking about like the meth like bubbles up in the pipe, that type of meth, or like Molly meth? Like
No. I'm talking real like smoking with a meth pipe meth, and then
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I told you the story, but I'll tell you, Suave, because it's crazy. I went to Bonnaroo and it's the music festival, and we went with some people that I kind of knew, not really. They were friends of friends. And they were like, "Yeah, man, I've been up for 3 days." I was like, "Wow, are you that excited about music?" He's like, "No, man, it's meth." And I was like, "Holy shit, you've been on meth?" He's like, "Yeah, we put this whole campsite together in one night. How did you think that was possible?" I was like, I don't know, man." He was like, "Meth." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, everyone else had a different process, man. Me personally, I would never.
I'm not about it. It's if I'm gonna do that, I'll just take a bunch of Adderall and drink some caffeine. I don't know. Like I think that there's better ways to get the same feeling. You ever tried Broncaid? Broncaid has Broncaid has a pseudoephedrine in it, and you have to like you're only allowed 2 of them at the store, and because if you take it enough of it, you can make literal meth with it. The pseudoephedrine.
Oh shit.
So
Okay.
they like write your name down. They take your license when you buy it, but it's meant for people with like asthma because it opens up your airways. And the reason I know about it is because you take. I heard about it in the workout community because if you take it before you work out, it's like the most insane pre-workout. But I
Damn.
literally
Notice
felt
how
like,
there's that little stutter there. I know about. I didn't even know about it for real. Why do you
I took
hesitate,
it.
bro?
I took
You
it.
taking it before.
Yeah. No. I wasn't. Listen. I will be the first person to admit what I've done. I've done a lot of things. I've done more things than I haven't done. I'll put it to you like that.
That's fire. That's a great thing to say, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's cool.
But
Like
what is?
being able, like, even if you don't like everything you've done, being able to say I've done more things that I haven't done, it's just nice to say, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, experiences.
I can tell you that I don't like
I
a
don't know
lot
about
of things.
taking drugs. Like,
What?
Well, I do know about taking drugs, so I can tell you.
What was I gonna say? That's something on my head, but I forgot it.
Stop doing so many drugs. Who was it? You that asked about the? Yeah, you asked about the crackheads or the meth heads. Who,
Yeah.
Who do you think is more what? Dangerous?
I said, who do you think is more dangerous? And you said crackhead.
Yeah, because every crackhead I've ever met has like asked me for some shit or like was trying to get some shit. No, meth heads are on their own fucking mission. They're like on a side quest that nobody else is on. And
That's what I'm. Okay, so for me, the meth heads be on their own mission, but it's like I'm scared to intrude on their mission a little bit because they got like three front teeth. They're like this on the road and shit. You know, it's like if I step in the way of that mission right there, I'm not coming home. But with a crackhead, like he's aware enough. If he's not at the peak of his high, I can like reason with him a little bit. You know.
Okay.
I've like had conversations, not great ones, but I've had conversations with crackheads. I've never had a conversation with someone, one of these people, you know.
Wait,
like,
but what makes you think that that's meth?
these people.
What do you mean these people, huh? All right.
fucking meth heads, meth addicts, tweakers. No.
Life is hard.
Supporting all
Cloudy.
people
All
on
right.
this podcast.
I'm all about
Cloudy approves.
equality. I will try everything twice. Because you don't know if you like it the first time, okay? There are plenty of things in this world I've tried the first time. I was like, not for me. I tried it the second time. I was like, yeah, I could fuck with that.
But maybe that's because you're only letting yourself get used to it. Like if you kill one person,
Oh,
you're gonna be like, oh no.
it's not that
But if
bad.
you kill two, you're gonna be like, that wasn't that bad. I got away with it twice. Shit.
That's how serial
We're
killers
talking
are.
about methods to killing people, bro.
Welcome to the rec center where we talk everything. I mean, we can
You
talk
got
music.
something you gotta say, Cloudy? You boy doing drills in between sessions?
Yeah, I mean, how else? Well, no, he was obviously crashing in the last session. That's what happened. That's how we got a picture of you.
Oh
sleeping.
yes, I was dreaming about my last body. I just had to.
In Sherman Oaks? Sherman Oaks body?
You're wild.
Oh,
So okay, so let's talk more about Suave because we talked about each other
Yeah.
or ourselves enough. So yeah, tell me what like you were saying a little bit before we went live that you're an engineer, you're an artist of all sorts, but how did you get into music? Like you want to combine a lot of different older styles, but I want to hear like how you even got started in music. You said something about DJing too.
So when I first started, I was like a little kid, and this was like from 2008 to like 2012. What was really hot was like, LMFAO was hot, Swedish House Mafia, Calvin Harris, Avicii, all these dudes, these Dutch guys were hot, and that was just the music that played mainstream American music. And then these guys would get on these big turntables and they'd be like, it's one hell of a night. And then you see fucking like EDC or Miami, the little YouTube clips, and these motherfuckers going crazy, bro. And I'm like, damn, that shit was lit as fuck. Like, what I thought the club experience would be versus when I went was very different. I was like, damn, that's what people like. When they're older, they get to go out and the DJ rocking that shit and it looks lit. Like, that shit must be fun as fuck. So I was like, that's cool. But I want to be that dude that's rocking shit because I've seen a lot of people that have done a lot of dumb shit of just being intoxicated. So like I'm cool with it, but like I've had my own fair share. Like, okay, I got fucked up and stuff. It's not like my biggest thing. Like to me, it's no big deal because it's like I've seen a lot of that shit. And I'm just kind of turned off by that. So I basically wanted to just be like those dudes. Like I saw like fucking. I remember seeing these Swedish House Mafia music videos, and they were hard as fuck. I was like, damn, that shit's cool. Like everyone's listening to these dance songs. They're super catchy. They're fun. Like I like that shit. Like it sounds good to me. It's like electronic music, where it's like the music that I would listen to on like cassette tapes and CDs. Like my pops would play because we used to take long ass drive from San Diego straight to Canada, which is a 2 day drive. So we listen to the same cassette CD over and over and over again. It's like old shit. I didn't really understand it. You know what I mean? I'm first American in my family. I was like, okay, what the fuck are they saying, bro? I don't really understand. But that's just how cool to me because I listen to like a lot of that. My sisters too. They were really into it. They were about like they were 7, 10 years older than me. So that was like their time to be going on doing stuff, and they fuck with that shit. I definitely got a lot of influence from that. In terms of hip hop, I definitely got it from like all my guy cousins. You know, like back in the day, that whole 50 Cent wave and shit, like being hard and like NWA, like West Coast music, all that shit. Like, people fuck with them. Like what I'm talking about with those dudes that just kind of like they're a little slower and they're like.
Hey man, bro, you're not that old, bro. You're not gonna sit on my fucking live and act like you was an NWA fan.
I'm not, but
Wu-Tang?
I'm the youngest of this generation, so I grew up with a lot of that. Like I'm not
Okay.
old as that. Yeah, I just saw it at a very young age, and I feel like after a certain point, as a perspective, when you're a little kid and stuff, and you see something, oh, that's cool. You kind of want to be like that. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to be in the mix. You know, I couldn't go out with them and do all that stuff, so I like like what the fuck. Where they're playing a car, why? That's just cool. You know, they're the ones driving me around. I'm not really doing shit. You know, I'm just there posting. I like a Happy Meal or some shit. Like, I was like, this is cool. This is cool as fuck. You know what I mean?
Hell
So
yeah.
that's what really started for me was DJing. I had this little Newmark, the smallest one you can get. It had a little USB. It had 2 tracks and a play and pause button, and that's it.
Shit.
So I learned how to do the fucking transitions from there.
Yeah.
Basically, you just and I got really good at making just. I think a good DJ is one who's seamless and understands the crowd without displaying their ego. You know, they know how to really do shit properly. And I think that set the tone for me making music. Because a lot of DJs, they're actually ass. They don't know how to fucking transition. They have too big ego. They fucking go ahead and I'm the shit and this is how it should be. You tell them play a song at like a wedding or something, and I got you. And then fucking hours pass, they ain't even play a song. Like, fuck you, bro. Like, I've been told you to do this shit. You know what I mean? Yo, bitch ass talking about, oh, bro, I'm playing this, bro. You're getting paid by my uncle, bro. Don't make me get him, and then we all beat your ass, bro.
Exactly.
Bro,
I already paid you. Quit acting like I'm about to tip your ass. Let's go.
Exactly, bro. So I didn't fuck with that. I just like listen to songs, combine them.
So give me
and
that
I had
shit.
a big homie tell me like, yo, why you playing other people's songs? I was like, what do you mean? Right? You do these little mixes and you go to these parties. Why don't you even play your own song? What do you mean tell my own songs? I was like, I ain't got no studio. He was like, what do you mean? You don't need a studio to make a song? I was like, what? I know that because in my head as a little kid, I thought all the big artists get a crazy studio and that's how they make songs. That's how it works. I saw Dr. Dre and I was like, Dr. Dre always in the studio. That's how he's making songs. That makes sense to me, So then I was like, okay, nah, you just need a computer. So they showed me on Apple, Mac. I don't fuck with Mac, by the way.
You don't fuck with Mac? Hold up, we're gonna have to stop and unpack that for a second. Why the fuck?
Tell him your catchphrase for people who use Macs.
So people that use like Mac and Apple stuff exclusively, they're very smooth brain.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because it's very UI optimized. It's like it does it all for you. I feel like you don't have like. It's like autopilot mode. Like, where's the skill? Where's the finesse in that? Where's what I'm trying to do?
So then you must have an Android, right? You must have an Android.
No, I got an iPhone, bro. Because let's be honest, bro. If I text a chick with a green,
you know what I'm saying? He's a goddamn liar. He's a goddamn hypocrite.
I don't phone Mac, and I'm on a family plan too, bro. You can't.
Okay, that's what. Phones are different. That's fair. I'll say it. Phones are different. Okay.
Yeah, but I ain't got no iPad. I ain't got no Mac. No.
I think it's worth having both, honestly. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
I think it's overpriced, bro. Like it's not changing my life. I want to get my phone less, honestly.
Using a Mac though, why? I understand the idea that it's okay for smooth brain people, but why would that be an issue if it makes life easier? If it makes what you're doing simpler, why is that a problem?
It's like the oldest facet of time. My pops tells me all the time. You don't do enough work. You don't do work with your hands, this and that. There's a merit to doing the work, and a lot of people you got all these people with all these problems nowadays. Oh, bro, I can't do this, I can't do that. If you just did shit all the time, you probably wouldn't have those problems. A lot more
But
people like, you know
what
what I
if
mean?
you
Like,
apply that same work ethic with a MacBook? And now you're doing hella shit because you have a smooth brain computer doing all the hard shit for you, so you can apply the same level of work you would have put in to making something
that's an
simple,
ideal scenario. That's an ideal scenario.
right?
You get lazier when shit gets easier. That's just a fact. You know, when shit like
I guess it's a
Okay.
mindset.
yeah, if you have shit made for you, you're not gonna work.
But what if you're cracking shit on a MacBook though? Like, what if you're like actually doing PC type shit on a
Disclaimer: I do work on a MacBook on the studio, so like I do say that like in a jokingly way. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that like, oh, bro, you
Oh
are like a
no,
lesser
definitely not.
kid.
But I've
Stuff
always
like that. But I personally don't fuck with that. I grew up on Windows. My first Windows OS was 98. I did 2000.
same.
I've used every
Wait,
single
98,
Windows up
no,
to date.
95. I started on 95 with a fucking desktop computer in my
Yeah.
room, and I had to crack the shit. I was using LimeWire. I was part of that group of people that were
Yeah, that
trashing
shit
my
is cool,
family's
bro.
computer.
Like, I always use Windows, so it's also like I just happen to be in that environment. It's like me with PlayStation. Like I had a PlayStation 1 because my sister had one, so I
That's an
fuck with PlayStation
interesting.
more. You know,
I would be curious the correlation between how many people have Xbox and MacBooks versus how many people have PS and Windows. I bet you
I'm gonna
that
take a guess. I'm gonna take a guess and say it's majority Apple and PlayStation. Like
really
majority.
not in the
no
US.
way.
US is mainly Xbox, bro.
No, no.
But that's a fact, bro. Like majority of the user bases of consoles in the US have Xbox.
We're gonna find out.
I like. I would believe. Okay, honestly, I believe that. I don't believe that in California, but I believe that across the U.S. Because it'd be some hoorah motherfuckers that just love
I don't
Xbox.
really play video games anymore, so my shit might be like 6 years outdated. You know what I mean? 7
I'm gonna lie, I don't either, bro. But when GTA 6 come out, I'm gonna spend a little time.
That shit's cool, bro. I fuck with GTA 5, but damn, them heists, they took too long to release, bro. I was already out of school by the time it happened, and I didn't even get to play it. It was so overhyped. It's like, oh, bro, you're gonna be online, you're gonna play a heist. All I did was fucking rob basically the computer version of my uncle time and time again, and for fun. And then that's it. You know what I mean? Just run around and do the little missions and rob.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
the story was smooth though. I remember.
The story was hard, bro. I fuck with the story. The new one's gonna be crazy too. They got like a chick in there, and it's like a couple kind of thing. It's gonna be cool.
But it does fuck me up though, because I really don't be having time to play that shit no more. So I just told like,
Bro, you got all the time in the world, bro. As you get older, you have less time because you have more obligations. So if you think you don't have time now, wait.
Where do you
trying to
get
make it
this
so that
from,
when I'm
bro?
older, I can do. Huh?
I want to know where you got that, Suave. Like, where did you get that mindset? Like, I know your pops and stuff, but there has to, who like really speaks into your life, because the way that you talk and like the way that you think is not that of your average like person.
I just grew up on a lot of OGs, you know what I mean? Like shout out to all the older people in my family, you know, especially like not like I guess our generation, but like generation before. I just sit down and talk with them, you know, like you talk to all these uncles, you talk to like
So you talk to
older
a lot to your
people that
family. You're very inquisitive. Like you're actually
family and just like I guess like community, you know what I mean? Like I talk to a lot of like not necessarily we're related by blood, but like through community and just you know you gonna sit like I used to get dragged to a lot of stuff. Like I think it's really traditional. Like in Indian households, you just kind of like you roll out and do stuff and you learn a lot. But like education's a big thing in my family. That's basically why we were able to come here to the U.S. Because both my parents are very educated and basically just having knowledge of stuff and understanding shit. Like that's really important to me. Even like you know, I didn't want to really get a bachelor's. Like I dropped out for a bit and I was just doing bullshit. But like I still went back and finished it. You know what I mean? I've always been a stellar student. I always try to make time to learn. I think that's what makes me good at doing music is that I'm always learning. I fucking met Cloudy. I saw how he's doing shit. I picked up stuff from him. I met Dr. Who. He's doing shit. I picked up stuff from him. It's always addition. Life's about learning. You know, no matter what you want to do. You want to be a trapper. You want to figure out how to do this shit better. You want to be fucking, I don't know, like a gym goer. You're going to figure out how to do that shit better. Life's all about learning. And if anyone says, yo, fuck school, this and that, like, they're stupid, bro. You learn not just going through school, but like through those experiences, like just interacting with people. Like when I went to school, no one was like me, you know, they were not like, they thought I was Middle Eastern and Mexican. So I learned how to like adapt to a lot of different scenarios because of that. Like,
I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I agree with the thing you're saying about experiences. I 100% agree with that. I think the school scam is that they think they're making you think you have to pay $200,000 to have this experience. You don't.
That's different. Like my take on undergrad as someone that's done it is like, bro, undergrad's the same shit as high school, just without parents. And so it's like, yeah, it's not necessarily worth that, especially like if you don't go into a real field. Like I knew this chick, she fucking studied like art or some shit. She didn't get no job. What the fuck you want to do studying art, bro? Like history of art or some shit. That was her major. And now she's working at like UPS or something. And I'm like, bro, like it's not worth it. Or like, oh, I'm gonna do communications or writing. Like, what are you really gonna write? Like ChatGPT gonna do that shit for you. If you're going to school, you got to have a purpose to be a productive member of society, and society is always evolving. The people with different skill sets.
Like, what's fucked up about college is that the majority of people that they market it to don't know what they want to go do. So they send people to college like, oh, here's where you'll find out what you're gonna do and what your life is gonna be. But they're just throwing experiences at you and making you pay for it. Where if you like took 2 weeks and shut the fuck up and went in your room and thought about your life and like maybe had some sort of direction, even if it was the wrong direction, you might have somewhere to go. You would save yourself so much money. I'm going for family reasons, so I can't. I'm playing from a different side of the field. But like, if it's between, if you're paying your way through college in 2023, I think it's worth 2 weeks. It's worth 2 weeks of like going somewhere and thinking about it.
Definitely, time is your most valuable resource. You're never gonna get it back.
My bad.
You gotta kind of, I don't know, man. It's a hard topic because like I'll be honest, bro. I used to skip lecture, discussion. Obviously, there I learned a lot from basically YouTube and like online, but that works for my field as like a computer engineer. You know what I mean? So it's like you can do that kind of shit. And like for me, there was like basically no option to not go to school.
Yeah.
I have to do something that's going to be productive. As even though I want to pursue music and eventually have that be full time. It's not easy to do, you know what I mean? Like how are you gonna fund that without doing something else? You know what I mean? How are you gonna make that shit happen and have the idea? And I like that, like I saw as a crossover. I worked on software like for synths and stuff. Like I'm coming out with my own synth soon and like just doing shit. So it's like I've always been in the box. I haven't been one of these dudes that's like plays some crazy instrument. I'm not classically trained or anything. I'm just a computer geek that is having a show.
Did you just say sim though? Hold up. You just said you're making your own sim? Synth. Okay, that's even cooler though. But a sim had my attention because I used to play The Sims growing up. But personally,
Sims hard too. But I used to play that shit too.
Hell yeah, all the expansions. So synth. Okay, so I want to talk about that. You're making. Is it a modular synth? Is it just a normal synth? What is it?
Right now, it's a basic ass synth, bro. I used to use it for all my beats. It's called Suave Synth. That's it. And it basically just makes every single waveform, sine, triangle, saw, whatever noise, and it just fucking, because I know how to do the shit from like, basically that ties into how I got into like production. You open up the DAW and nobody tells you, hey bro, this is how you make a beat, this is how you mix and master, this is what you do. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. So I just clicked like a synth and it just has all these fucking knobs. I'm thinking in my head, okay, this is how I'm gonna make the song with this one thing, because this is how you do it. I just kept making sounds, and obviously at first it all sounds like shit because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
But eventually I started figuring out how to connect what ideas were in here onto making those sounds. And then boom, you got one sound. And I was like, okay, cool, you can download that sound. All right, download that sound. And put another sound. Boom, I got two sounds. Sound on top of the sound. And then eventually I was able to make like a little loop from there. Organization, mixing, mastering, boom, I got the beat. But I did it like from bottom up. People kind of like from top down. I'm going to search up beats on YouTube, rap on, do stuff. I literally started from the bottom up. And so like I started by making sounds, then I made beats, then I replicated my favorite, like just big productions and shit like that. Like I redid all of Drake's views on my old computer, like the whole production on that, every single beat to a T, just to get good. Because like I knew that was going to be a skill. Like people come to me all the time and they're like, yo, can you make this beat? I'll make any beat on YouTube or anything. That's not a problem for me. And so I paid my dues through kind of doing that shit, and it's opened up a lot more doors. Even for me, like sometimes I'll record on a YouTube beat and then I'll just reproduce it. And then I'll have the homie produce it, and then I'll reproduce it again and mix it again. There's 3 different takes, and then boom, it's a whole nother thing by the end of it. You know what I mean? I think the biggest thing about music now is, for me, is collaboration and perspective, how I'm going to take each thing. Because some of my hardest shit, I might have not done it that one way, but I just seen how someone else did it and took bits and pieces and it came together.
Rooks, I need you to understand something. So we at this studio, we basically sell like when somebody hasn't come in before, we sell a trial hour. So essentially, it's like an hour where we have to wow the fuck out of a client, right?
Yeah.
This guy Suave will have 1 hour to make a beat and engineer an entire song and fully mix it and master it, and he does it consistently.
Jesus Christ.
I do everything there except make a beat. That part impresses everybody in the studio, bro. I'm not even lying. Like that shit is so crazy to me.
Yeah, because the homie Matt, he's really talented. He can play like instruments, you know. I'm not nearly as talented in that avenue, but I can click the keyboard really fast and get it done, you know.
Yeah.
But you don't use templates or any of that shit. You just do it all from scratch.
I use a Suave template. It makes my life easier. Like I think you'd be stupid to say, "Hey, bro, I'm not going to use a template." But one time, one time there's this one client, and basically FL Studio wasn't loading properly, so then they just opened it up empty, and then I had to do it from scratch. Like there's times where you gotta, you know, it's a different take every time. So like there's times where I might have to do that just because given that scenario. Ideally, I have all my sounds ready, the template's ready to go.
Okay, so there is pre-work. Okay, and you've done the pre-work to make it that easy. What it sounded like
it's basically like
you make.
Yeah.
What do you do for samples though? You said you've used Samples Pack. I'm curious what your perspective is on like these websites like Splice or all that shit. Like, do you
they're fire, bro. Like keep it coming, bro. It's just gonna make my life easier. I'm gonna get shit done faster, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. Everyone's like, oh, bro, don't use samples. You gotta do everything from scratch. It takes more time, bro. I've done songs where I've written every single thing. I made the melody. I practiced the melody like so many times. Every song gotta be perfect. And that shit takes a lot longer than if I hear a beat and I'm just like, all right, boom, do that. Or if someone else does that, or if you even help with lyrics, it just gets faster, easier. So it's like, I think you're a fool to be like, oh, bro, you go straight, you did this, that. Like, bro, what do you want me to do? Do everything from scratch, build the computer from scratch, then do everything. Like, you could go insane with it, you know what I mean? And I've been there, I've done that. Like, I've gone down the rabbit hole, and it's just like, at the end of the day, you're going to lose hair over it, and it's like, and sleep, it's like, fuck that, bro.
Wow.
I kind of want to just get shit done fast.
Yep. So I've heard, and I'm curious what your perspective is on this. I haven't asked you this, Claudia, so I'd be curious if you have a perspective on this too. But I've heard that a lot of these sounds and samples that we're getting from these websites are designed to be out of the box. In other words, you don't really need to process them like as a sound themselves. You only need to process them as like a group or however you choose to process. But in other words, you're not having to like take a kick and then beef it up and then like clean it up and all. Like you can literally take a kick and it's ready to go. You don't need to do anything but EQ it into your mix.
So what's your question?
The question is, do you find that that's the case, or do you actually do a lot? Do you do work, or do you find that it makes sense to manipulate them?
So for me, like I'm not a producer. I don't have beats. I'm just right? So because of that, most of my sound effects that have nothing to do with the beat. It's like a newscaster saying something or like a glass breaking. So I'll usually EQ that in or do some crazy stuff to that just because it has nothing to do with the beat. So I want to make it sound out of the box and interesting. So if it's a newscaster, I'll put them underwater. If it's a glass breaking, I'll put an echo on it. Some shit like that. Some subtle shit, but it's always something. I'm not just dropping the sound in. I don't know the perspective of a beat maker, but I have heard a lot of the sounds on Splice seem like I could drag it into a beat and have no problem because they're very replicable.
Oh, Rooks, I have a scenario for you.
Okay.
If you go to Home Depot right now and you get a titanium wrench, will it work on every single nut and bolt?
Wait, what was the last part?
So you have a titanium wrench, right? Everyone's got a wrench somewhere in their drawer, right? But you just get one, regular wrench. Will it work on every single nut and bolt? Yes or no?
No.
Then how can every sound work with every scenario? It's impossible. That's just some industry gimmick. Like if you think that, hey, bro, I'm going to use an EDM kick and make it sound like a drill beat, it might not work. That's just not how that sound goes. But if you make it like that, you can make it like that. So it's not necessarily like, hey, bro, I'm going to this sounds exactly ready. It just depends on how you're going to use it. In some scenarios, if you're going to use it how it was made to be, yeah, sure, that's perfectly fine. There's no problem with that. And you don't have to mix everything. Sometimes, basically, you just got to level shit. Like, making beats is easier than ever now. But, like, It's not necessarily then where's the skill, where's the finesse in that? You know what I mean? Like I think that like that's like saying you're gonna use one wrench for every single tool. You can't do that. You need to have different wrenches, different sizes. Every kick is different.
I have heard a lot of complaints from artists that producers they work with literally just pulled a beat damn near off a splice, like pulled a sample in, pulled a drum pack in, pulled this in, pulled a different one in for the middle of it, EQ'd it one time, here's your beat, put no work into it, then they're asking for 50% of royalties and $200 for the beat. You know, it's like that happens more often than
and that's
talk about.
There's an artist that I don't remember the name of, and it doesn't really matter because I don't want to give them any more attention that they've already gotten. But they were literally taking demos from sample packs. So the sample pack demo tracks, they would take those tracks and then use them as their own tracks. They submitted them with their own name and called them something else, and it worked. They were getting real plays, real traction, and they were getting festival bookings from sample pack tracks that they literally stole and put their name on. Like I don't think that it's okay, and I'm not saying that that's something you should do, but I'm also and I'm agreeing with everything that's been said so far. I personally, when I use samples, and I mean I literally just posted the quick overview of like our last track on Rec Center was I took a sample from Splice, but then I chopped it and then I pitched it down, and then from there, I think the biggest thing that I use out of the box though, and this is just being completely transparent, would definitely be kicks, because the kicks that I go to your point, Suave, was I go to, if I want a house kick, I use a house kick. If I want a hip hop kick, I use a hip hop kick. If I want, or an 808 or something like that. Like I'm usually using project or track genre specific kicks. Specifically, but outside of that, it's pretty much whatever sounds good. Like I'll use a lot of organic stuff as well as a lot of synthetic sample stuff.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. Rooks, I think you're incorrect. You can use the demos. There's actually no rules to this shit. And you know why? Because years ago they used to say, hey, if you sample this song and you make hip hop, which is what hip hop started from, was sampling, that's incorrect. You're stealing it, right? People would say, hey, if you use this melody and these lyrics, this is incorrect. You can't copy what that person has done. And the idea of copying of what someone else has done versus there's instances where like it might not come off as good. But like, for example, like I very much like one of the producers I think I mentioned before, I really look up to is Dr. Dre. And I think that there's a reason why his beats are timeless and he does a lot of good stuff. And I would like to work with that kind of stuff. Does that mean that if I replicate his beat or if I do something like that, that's necessarily incorrect? Maybe no, because it has my touch on it, right? And that's what makes it creative. So it's like, you can say, oh, you know, you just took this whole sample pack, you took this whole beat, you did this. But what they did was technically different as a different entity, which makes it a whole new product in and of itself, regardless if it's the same beat or not. So it's like, at what point do you draw the line? You can say sampling is incorrect then, technically with the same argument you're saying, because you shouldn't be allowed to take old songs, cut them, use them how you want them, and then do that. Or use an old beat and then do a new style, right?
Well, so okay, but that's, I agree. But the point that I think is where you haven't done any manipulation. You haven't pitched down the BPM. You haven't cut it at all. You're literally taking the demo track and just literally putting a vocal on it at most. And
but then how that person approaches the vocal is going to totally shift it, right? Like, what if I fucking took Eminem's Lose Yourself and I fucking sang a fucking inspirational song or a dark song versus like rapping it really hard? That would be a totally different take on it. And that's okay. It's not like, oh, that's incorrect. You know, people are going to feel, I know people are going to feel really opinionated, like, oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. And the reason why I say that is because basically I took an old composition from like an old Punjabi song and I basically put it on a whole new beat and a whole new take on it. It was much more like lively, folk, happy, and I made it dark. And old people would say, like 60, 50-year-olds would be like, that's incorrect. You took the composition the same way you would take that little sample or that sound bit and you just threw your vocals on it, or like you made your vocals and producer on it just to make it slap, but like you're not allowed to do that. And so it's like, that argument can go for like ever. You can always say, oh, this is incorrect, this is incorrect. Like Juice WRLD took Sting's melody and he made that song, I still see the shadows of your eyes. Like, that shit's cool. Like, a lot of people like that. People don't remember Sting. They don't even know who the hell that is. Young people, no idea, right? So it's like that's how things evolve. I think that there's no real rules to it, but the
I
more
think
you
you
learn
hit
about shit,
a nail on the head. My bad to interrupt you. Go ahead, finish your
no,
sentence.
you're good.
I think you hit a nail on the head with that because people, the ones that you're referring to that would feel like, oh, this is wrong or we can't do this. The only reason those people say that is because they've heard it one way and loved it one way, so they don't want to hear it change, you know. But like for the people who haven't heard it that way, it's not like it's incorrect. It's just been done in this person's ears this way, and they love it, so they don't want it to. It's like your favorite restaurant. You don't want it to become another good restaurant, even if that other restaurant's fucking fire. It's the one you know. You like your fucking pastrami sandwich over here. You don't want that to go away for some Erewhon. You know what I mean? But it's like it's you know. So like you said, the Juice. I guarantee people. I didn't know it was Sting's melody until you just said that. I know who Sting is, but I didn't know that. You know?
Yeah. So it's just like shit like that. You know what I mean? So like, I just think that there's no real limit to it. I think if someone watches this and like, yo, you know, I want to make music, try to do what you want to do. You know, what's in your head, what inspires you. Think about like, you know, when you were a little kid, when you were 7, what was that shit that made you like, damn, I like this song? You know what I mean? Well, think about why did you like that, and then try to like really come up with stuff like. But don't just always like I said, I think it's kind of lame when people, you know, oh, copy paste same song, same song, same song. That's lame. Just take different approaches. Like for example, I'm talking to Cloudy. You know, we're going to work on some shit. You know, stay tuned. But I'm like, yo, Cloudy, like I want to fucking do some shit where like I'll fucking do something and I'm like, yo, I just want you to do this like this. And then I want you to do something where you're like, yo, I want you to do this like this. And it's going to make something totally different because it's like, who
every
knows
time
how he thinks not how I think.
structure idea and shit. It's like every time I run into, bro, I want you to do this verse like this, and then we're gonna do this. And every next time I see him, okay, I want you to do this hook like this, then I'm gonna come in right after, then we're gonna double it right there. It's like every time I see him, he has a brand new idea for like a song. Or even, I love it though, because it's like that's what we do this shit for, you know, like just to.
I think the ideas, the perspective, I think that's what really makes it. And like, yeah, I built up these skills, but like that's that whole take. Like my fucking shout out to my little bro, man. He like the way I sang the hook on PTSD was because of him. I did it like 5 times, and he was like, "That one's the one," and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I think the engineer was like, "They're all cool," and then he was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was just there, you know, hitting a blunt and with me. And he was like, "That one's the one." And just because he said that one's the one, that's what it became, you know. And so it's always, you never know how people are gonna interpret it and do stuff. So it's always good to take different perspectives. There's no Grammy, there's no Pride Award for saying, hey, bro, I did everything from scratch. Because I've been there, I've done that. I've done everything from scratch. And it's like, okay, cool. But then there's some times where I just did it on the beat and like fucking someone else told me do it like this, and then people fuck with that more. So it's like, you should just keep creating. You know what I mean? You shouldn't worry about all this stuff. Creative is not supposed to be like you're trapped in a box. You know, it's supposed to be like ideas, keep going, keep creating, right? That's what drives us as creative individuals. Not
Let me ask you something, because I've had a couple people tell me, like, I think in this last month, I like made a couple songs playing for somebody. The person that I played the song for liked it a lot. I said, I don't know how I feel about it, and they're like, well, how you feel doesn't matter. The song is fire. To me, like, if I'm gonna put it out, I need to like it, right? And I think you'd agree. But there's a certain point, like for a consumer, because most of these people aren't musicians, like, or maybe they're a little musically inclined, but they're not like pushing it in the way we are, you know. So the people I play it for have a consumer perspective on the song I'm playing for them, and they don't give a fuck if the artist likes it, if the artist was in pain when they made it, if the artist brought it from the deepest, darkest place he could ever be. The song is tough, you know, whether or not I like it. So I'm asking you, do you feel like as an artist, when you put out music or listening to somebody else's music, you would like it more if you knew they liked it, or do you not give a fuck? You just want it to be a good song?
I think for me, it's independent of that. It's like the results will come based off of the skill. So like an example is like Michael Jordan practiced his jumper every day and he was going to go in, and no matter how he did it, you know? So that's what I do. I try to make music every day, so it's going to be good, and I try my best takes vocally, you know, mixing. I do something every day. So that's like, I have to do something every day. And like some of the songs, like I'll give you an example. There's this one song that's like really soft, and basically like the take on it was like a really soft, like lighter voice, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really like classically trained, like I said, but like I just sang it lighter and higher, and like when I show that shit to like chicks, they really fuck with it. They're like, "This is really, really dope. Like, wow, you're so talented." And to me, I'm like, "Bro, I sound like a bitch." You know what I mean? Because like when I grew up around like a bunch of hard ass dudes, if they heard me sing like that, they're gonna be like, "Bro, what the fuck, you little bitch, bro? What the hell is this fucking LGBTQ bullshit?" You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know. You know, I just tried something." And so I don't necessarily be like, "Oh, I gotta make something to appeal to people." I just try things, and then like, say if it works, it's gonna work. If it's not, it's not gonna work. And I don't even get like, because we're so busy. I work 2 jobs and stuff. If I don't think the idea or like what I'm trying to run with is good, I'm not even attracted or try to make it. I'm at that point in my life right now where I'm like, hey, you know what? If this isn't something of a quality where I can put something to it, it's not worth my time to do it because I just don't have that many hours in the day. It's hard when you work a 9 to 5. I travel a lot, like it's 2 hours back and forth, and just fucking mixing and doing all this shit all day. You just don't got the time to do that. So it's like,
Oh, wait,
I'm going to try what I'm doing.
You still live in Dago? You live in San Diego?
No, I'm not in Dago, but I'm in the Inland Empire. I don't Rancho Cucamonga.
Okay, you're still a little minute away. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So it's still a little bit away, but it's kind of like, I'm gonna just try shit, and now that so many people are like, oh, I really like how you sang to this and appeals to the consumer market. Maybe a song I wouldn't have dropped if I just kept it to myself, but all these people show a lot of love and support. Like, hey, you should make more songs like this, do this stuff like this. Like, maybe I will try those ideas in different ways now. You know what I mean? Like maybe I will go higher in my range. Maybe I will do a softer voice sometimes. Maybe I won't just do exclusively hard music or fun music or whatever. So it's like you got to just be open to, hey, I'm gonna try those things and it just might work. You know what I mean? And like those guys that think that, hey, bro, like I think the wackest artist to work with, as someone that's engineered and produced for so many people, is like those people that sit there like, no, it's gotta be like this, it's like that. Like you don't want to be around those people, bro. Like people that think that it's their way or the highway. It's like it's fucking lame. Like I joke about that shit all the time, especially when I'm talking to kids. I'm like, yeah, bro, if you gonna fuck with me, you gotta get with the program or get the fuck out. Like when I like, you gotta be chill. You gotta like, life's about taking different perspectives, learning from people. You know what I mean? Like, bro, when I met you, I might say something. Oh, you might think this is cool, but you might not think it's cool, and then you might change something else that might even be cooler. Who knows? You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna hold that grudge with you. Like, oh, he didn't use what I said in the bro. Like, wow, like no, bro, it was just an idea. And so like ideas come and go all the time. It's not like I sit here and hey, at this exact moment, I have an idea. Sometimes I'm taking a shower. I have an idea. Sometimes I'm driving. I have an idea. Sometimes I'm eating food. I have an idea. I try to capture those ideas and just run with it, and then make as much as I can. There's only so much time I can make this shit. So yeah.
How do you capture
Let me ask another group question, and then I want to let you go. But I want to ask it to both of you because I feel like the largest part of being a creative for me is like not just in music, but just in life. Is like I'll have an idea. In some way or form throughout my day, it'll come up where I can express that idea, and that thing might be, the hit or whatever, right? Like might make a situation work. And then if it does, I take a certain level of pride in like affirmation that idea worked. Whether it be, okay, I had an idea for a song's fire. Okay, I had an idea how to solve this problem got solved. Okay, I had an idea for like whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like I can fix something, or oh, you should say this to this person, and then you got the response you wanted, like whether it's a negotiation, anything. Like an idea that I have ends up being what works out. It makes me feel good. It's like because that's what I enjoy doing kind of at my core, is just having an idea, bringing it to life, seeing it work. So in that respect, does that affect you guys positively? Do you not think about that when you're creating? What's the process for you?
Go ahead, Suave.
I'll let you go ahead and take a
crack
fine. At that.
All right, I'll go first. So the idea of having something come to life that really was a good idea. So my last thing that came together like that was that rap track I did about Possessed, basically.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that it was great by any measurement that anyone, and I think I did a really good job, but I'll kind of tell you why I think that. Overall, to answer your question, do I think about if I'm able to get things and kind of if a plan in any life situation, because I understand the question is pretty broad, but even in music specifically, I will kind of make a note of it and be like, oh, that worked. But for me, my experience has been so much the opposite that would almost be like a deja vu experience. Like that's how like chance it is to me that happens, and I'm okay with that, because for me, the more that I try to control a narrative, or the more that I try to go with this is how it's going to go, the more it falls apart for me. And that's just my experience. So what I've noticed is that when I operate from my principles and I don't worry about the situation necessarily, or I don't worry about like the outcome, I just worry about me in the moment, that is more rewarding for me. If I'm able to stay in the moment and react in a way that is non-negative. So if something goes my way, I'm not like taking it to heart, or if something doesn't go my way, I'm not taking it to heart. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'm not focusing on it, but I will make a mental note, because I think that there's importance in giving yourself accolades when you're able to bring an idea to life. But I also think it's important to stay malleable and flexible enough in your path when it comes to fleshing out ideas, because your original idea is often not your best one, because it takes specific iterations to then advance upon it. So for example, my first music video was trash compared to my second music video, but my third music video was way better than my second music video. But again, it's because it takes iterations to then grow from that idea. But I don't think that it's necessary to be attached to the original thought, idea, or plan, because more often than not, that plan is going to not fall apart, but it's not going to go the exact way. And to a point that Cloudy and I have talked about a lot, is that what you want may not be as good as what's for you. So if something seems really good, it may not be good at all. It may be like a really big disaster waiting to happen. But vice versa, there may be a situation where you're like, oh, this situation sucks. Like the most obvious one is getting fired from a job. When you get fired from a job, people are often like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But then it always turns out that it's a blessing in disguise. I'm a perfect example, because I got let go from a job 3 weeks before COVID hit America. And I was ahead of the curve of getting a job, and I ended up getting a work from home job that I still have since the pandemic started. And all of that was because I was getting comfortable in my position, and then I was like, I'm not leaving, I'm staying here. And life was like, the fuck you are, get out. But again, my plan was to stay where I was, but life's plan was like, no, you're leaving, you're going to Texas. That's where I'm at now. So overall, I think it's, to wrap it up, and then I want to hear what Suave's response is that I think that it's important to acknowledge when you're able to fully bring a original idea to life, but I don't think it's as important as being flexible with the journey, as long as you are able to create something that you're happy with, whether it's a conversation went the way that you wanted it to go, your track came out the way you wanted it to sound, you got the response you wanted from a significant other. Like all these things in life that are really cool when they happen are too chance for me to be like, all right, this is something I'm going to replicate, because I can't do it. Again, the harder I hold on, the more it falls apart for me. But
I get you. I have thoughts on here.
I'm gonna do this real quick, because you know me, I gotta put in work in the studio, even though I just want to chill. Nah, but I think very much of what you're saying, Cloudy, is like something I've struggled with in my life too, and it's kind of like the battle of ego. You know, I've had some humbling experiences where I almost would not be here in the studio, living this life, getting this money, being able to make music. I could have lost like 10 years of my life basically doing dumb shit, and so it's like I try to fight with that every day. I think the hardest thing that any person deals with, whether you make music or not, is like you can point a finger at someone else, be like, yo, it's your fault. Or you can point at yourself, be like, yo, how am I going to make myself better? That's something you go through every day, right? And so it's like, basically, you shouldn't think about like, this shit is harder, this and that, and like just dealing with your own ego. Like you don't need drugs to fucking have ego death. You can just kind of like check yourself and be like, all right,
it helps.
Well, I'm going to work on this. Like I try to compare it to something tangible, because sometimes with music it's hard to. So it's like, for me, I like comparing to basketball, because I feel with basketball, like I've made enough fucking jumpers. I know it's gonna go in. Like I don't need to stress about that. Like whether you like it or not, this might be based on your perspective or not. But whether I decide to do stuff as a business move or something, I'm gonna roll with that just because I feel like, all right, this makes sense. You know, this makes perspective. And biggest thing for me is making music that my people gonna fuck with, because I've gotten so much like, I guess, like dissonance from people that are very close to me, whether it be my family and friends. You know, they don't even want to give me time of day, listen to my music, clowning me for doing it. Like, if they fuck with it, then I know other people will fuck with it. So that's always been my goal. You know what I mean? It's like I want to make something dope that, like, hey, you know what? It's so dope that it's undeniable. Like, I'm gonna make something so hard that, like, my parents will fuck with it. They have no choice but to. If 100 million people fuck with it, they're gonna have to fuck with it, because they're gonna see, oh, so this person said that shit's hot. They're gonna think like that. They're not gonna think, oh, beforehand. They're not gonna listen and be like, oh, that's cool. So that's how I really think about it. It's just like, you know, you got to put your work in, get your reps in, and get that work in. And if you got it like that, you got it like that. The hardest rappers, bro, like Gucci Mane does like 11 songs a day, bro. I'm not doing 11 songs a day, so I need to. He's on, you know what I mean. So you gotta go hard. You gotta go hard, and I'm trying to outdo what he did. So it's like I got to do even more than that. So I got to just keep going, keep running through repetitions. It's like playing basketball. You got to keep shooting shots. You're gonna miss more shots than you make, but you're gonna make more the more you practice. So you got to keep doing that, and that's what it's all about, man. Putting time, putting your 10,000 hours, you know, and keep doing what you gotta do, and you gonna get there. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. We're in the land of opportunity. I've seen people that, like, they ain't got food, water, home, nothing, man, and they fucking on the damn dirt and they got nothing. Yeah, at least get the chance to try this and do this. So put your whole heart in it, and if you believe in it, where there's a will, there's a way. All right, that's my motivational speech. Brother Suave, I'm signing out. Tap in with me at Suave Sahib. That's SUAVE SAHIB on everything. I got more music, more shit coming. Me and Claudia got some crazy shit. I'm finna tap in with you, Rooks. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I gotta engineer some shit, but I'll catch you guys soon.
All right,
Have a
well,
good one, man.
definitely.
Peace